Respected Sri Lakshmi Narayan ji, Durga Reddy ji, Sri Surendra ji, Sanjeev ji, and all other participants who have joined this release function. Greetings to you all. And at the outset, I would like to thank Sri Lakshman ji for the kind words he has expressed about me. मैं सोच रहा था తెలుగులో మాట్లాడాలా హిందీ में बोलना है whether I should speak in English. So I was in a dilemma because I will not be able to speak in Telugu for a long time. That too online may be difficult. In front of me, if there are some Telugu people, definitely I can speak some words in Telugu. So chala santosham. Elders and friends, it is not only, I am not only happy to participate in this function today, but I deem it my honor to release this special issue of Jagriti, the most popular Telugu weekly, a special issue on Mananiya Dattopant Thengdi ji. Nearly 2 months back, I came to know that such a special issue is being prepared by our friends in Bhagyanagar on the occasion of the centenary year of this Rashtra Rishi, Manya Dattopant Thengdi ji. As you all know, his full name is Dattatreya Bapurao Thengdi. And he was popularly and affectionately known as Dattopant Thengdi ji. As it has been told, he has been a Sangha Swayam Sevak, a Pracharak for whole time, for whole life. And he founded many organizations, movements, and institutions during his lifetime. Manya Dattopant Thengdi ji was not only a person for inspiration to Swayam Sevaks only, or the activists and workers of the Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh, which he founded and which occupied the first position in the trade union movement of this great nation. But he was also a model for all Indians. I would like to say here that he is one of the architects of modern Bharat. आधुनिक भारत का नव निर्मापकों में माननीय ठेंगड़ी जी के नाम दर्ज हुआ है. Undoubtedly, he occupies a covetable place in the committee of great nation builders, those who have been active particularly in the post-independence Bharat. Thengdi ji participated in the freedom struggle as a high school student. And by the time he completed his life's journey, he had seen his predictions becoming true. He has seen his convictions becoming respected. He has seen that his commitment to the ideology was the commitment of millions of people. This he could see in his lifetime. It is not just a matter of coincidence or chance, but to achieve this, Manya Thengdi ji has made immense contribution, has made untold sacrifices, has put in hard work and effort, passing through miseries and pains, trials and tribulations. Manya Thengdi ji's message, his work, his life, all have become everlasting inspirations to any social worker in our country. That is why it is quite befitting for Jagriti Publication Trust to bring out a special issue on such a Rashtra Rishi, because the present generation should know about such role models. When India is now readying herself to attain newer heights, to play the role of Vishwaguru, the message and work of Sri Dattopant Thengdi ji are extremely relevant and highly inspiring. Manya Thengdi ji, as a small school boy, showed his penchant for organization. He was an organizer and a natural leader as a student in the high school. He organized young people and he called it a Vanar Sena. Though he was coming from a upper middle class family, because his father was a very successful advocate in RV of Vidarbha in Maharashtra, Thengdi ji had made friends with very poor students of the town. Those students who were staying in small huts and apartments, those who are unable to have square meal a day, that's why they became his friends. And as a boy, Manya Thengdi ji started an organization called Jhuggi Jhopdi Association of RV. So you can see that such a boy becomes a leader whose heart bleeds for the poor, whose thoughts flow for the underprivileged, whose sweat flows for the underdog and the downtrodden. Thengdi ji is known as a trade union leader. But at the same time, he was not only a trade union leader, he was a thought leader. He was an ideologue of the cultural nationalism of Bharat, which is termed as Hindutva. Thengdi ji's vast reading, understanding and observation, not only of India's present and past, but of the societies all over the world, the civilizational studies he had made, the interactions he had made with the academicians, trade union leaders, the media people, the political sphere, he had immense contact. That's why entire world was his university. He learned in that university. He taught in that university. So he made this world as his studying place, his learning place, and his teaching place. He lived for a great cause of Parama Vaibhava of Bharat. But his conscience was not limited only to the political or cultural borders of India, but it went beyond these boundaries. He embraced the entire humanity. That's why he gave a call. The communists said, "Workers of the world, unite." But I distinctly remember in the Bangalore conference of Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh from the dais, he declared, I was present there, Though I was an ABVP Karyakarta, I attended that function because it was held in Bangalore, which is my hometown. He said, it is not workers of the world unite. He said, workers will unite the world. Because the workers, the laborers do not have this various fissiparous tendencies of caste, community, language, or nationality. That is why the workers will unite the world. Because the feeling of a worker in Bharat, feelings of a labor in South Africa, or the miseries and hardships of a worker in Europe, they are all common. That's why Tengdiji was a universal personality. He could understand the miseries and hardships, the pains and pleasures of the people anywhere in this world. So that's why his understanding, his study were amazing. I attended a lecture series years ago in Bangalore. The lecture series was by Tengdiji, and it came out as a book later on. The Renaissance Way, the Dharma, published by Rashtrotthana and Parishad, Bangalore. And when I was listening to him as a college student, I was amazed to know, amazed to see him speaking. He was referring to Vedic scriptures, Upanishads, Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, quoting Sanskrit verses, and at the same time, in another sentence, he would quote somebody, a Western philosopher, an English dramatist or a poet. Then he would quote from scripture for continuous 4 days when his lecture was going on. I was seeing what this man is. He's an encyclopedia by himself, knowing so much and proving his point beyond any doubt with self-confidence and conviction. But at the same time, Dattoppan Tengdiji's personality was, though he was acclaimed leader of trade union, Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh, though he was rubbing his shoulders with the elders, prominent people in the country and elsewhere in the world, though he was such a scholar, an affectionate man was sitting inside Dattoppan Tengdi. His love and affection for the ordinary people, that was something beyond words. In the morning, he would be speaking with some Karyakarta of the organization who is an office bearer. In the afternoon, he may be talking with an academician or an intellectual. Evening, he will be putting his hands on the shoulders of an ordinary factory worker who is uneducated, who lives in a small hut, and he will express his love and affection, and he will talk with him, he will have personal chat with him, he will give him his confidence, he will console him. I have taken myself, Tengdiji, as a pillion rider on the scooter in Bangalore. Late night at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the midnight, taking him to somebody's house, having a cup of coffee. Because of the whole day he will finish his work, and evening and night he will go and meet Karyakartas. What a wonderful organizer. He knew how a worker, ordinary worker of the organization feels and thinks and suffers. That's why he had time for the Karyakartas, the Kada. And Manya Tengdiji his contribution, as I have already said, is not only he was a trade union leader and a founder of Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh, he is the founder of Bharatiya Kisan Sangh, he is the founder of Swadeshi Jagaran Manch. He played his role in the development of Sanskar Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad, because time and again the Karyakartas of these organizations were approaching Manya Tengdi ji for guidance, and Tengdi ji was available for everybody. He was available for info. He was available for participating in functions and deliver speeches. At least on 2 occasions, in 2 national conferences of Vidyarthi Parishad, Tengdi ji delivered very memorable talks at the conference. One in Bangalore conference in 1978, which is published as a small booklet as a National Renaissance, where he spoke about leadership. And he gave that famous example of Muhammad Paigambar's guidance. And he also said how the revolution is not permanent. Today's revolutionaries become tomorrow's reactionaries. That is why a permanent revolution is required. What the Marxian thought was there. He explained it and he said how it was fallacy. And in the Madras conference of ABVP, Chennai conference, he delivered the talk on the concept of development. So Tengdi ji was available for Karyakartas, for informal talk, personal talk, for guidance, and for participating in the functions. Tengdi ji was the Loka Sangharsha Samiti secretary during the emergence. He remained underground throughout the period. Police could not nab him. He was leading the movement against the emergency to establish democracy and constitutionality in our country. As Secretary of Lok Sangharsha Samiti, the role played by Manya Tengdi ji will have to be written in the annals of the movement for restoring democracy in our country. A trade union leader was accepted by all political leaders, all Sarvodaya leaders, all those people who were the participants of that great struggle. Tengdi ji was Rajya Sabha member for 2 terms. He has spoken on various topics of national social importance. Those speeches are being recorded, and shortly, by the end of this centenary year of Manya Tengdi ji, the collection of his speeches in Rajya Sabha will be published. The work is going on. Tengdi ji was interested in environment and ecology. He spoke at length on this subject, what type of development is required and how environment should be protected. And the trade union like Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh, within that organization, he started a Paryavarana Manch. The labor field Karyakartas should have the awareness and action for the protection of environment. That's why, though it is a trade union, he started a Paryavarana Manch within that. Because generally it is said that the factories are the reasons for pollution. That's why when we have to work in the factories to earn our livelihood and also to produce for the country, manufacture for the country. But because when the factories run, it also creates pollution in the atmosphere. That's why it is our bounden duty also to see that the environment is protected. That's why while we are earning our bread through factory, we should also contribute for the protection and balance of environment. What a wonderful thought. How person should pay back his debt, Runa Vimochana. Because we have a Runa, we have a debt on us. And that Samaj Runa should be paid back. No trade union in the world has thought about it. It is a unique idea of Manya Thengdiji. Manya Thengdiji started Samara Sadbhavana Manch, Sarva Dharma Samadhana Manch within a trade union. Because country like Bharat, where people belonging to various sects, people belonging to various religions, people having different backgrounds, will have to work on one platform. As one nation, they have to live. As one people, they have to behave. That is why Sarva Dharma Samadhana Manch, Sarva Pantha Samadhana Manch, he founded. Manya Thengdiji also worked for intellectual pursuance of nationalist ideas. That's why in Prajna Pravaha, he was one of the founders. Not only he extensively spoke, but he also wrote. He also inspired people, youngsters and the elders as well, within the Sangha Parivar circle and outside, to pursue nationalist ideology in the intellectual sphere of our national life. And in the initial days of Prajna Pravaha, Manya Thengdiji laid the foundation for a clear thought about the nationalist ideas, how it should be articulated in the intellectual sphere. For that, as I already told, he took examples from various parts of the world. And during that course, one of the great ideas that he gave for the thought process of our country, that is modernization without westernization. Every country, every people, every society will have to become modern. No society, no people can remain always orthodoxical or archaic. No people can remain attached only to old ideas. Every generation will come with newer and newer ideas and thoughts. That the society becomes modern. A nation has to become modern. But modernization doesn't mean westernization. What Europe or America thinks that only the modern thought is fallacious, is a wrong understanding. That's why Manya Thengdiji very clearly he declared a modernization without westernization. But it was not a shallow slogan. He explained it. He explained it in a wonderful manner, more convincing manner. That's why modernization, nobody is opposed to it. Need not be. But it need not be Eurocentric. It need not be westernization. That's why each can contribute in its own way for the modern thoughts and modern lifestyles. For that, the cultural roots, the environmental concerns, These things should be taken into consideration when you are becoming the architect of a modern society. So that is the intellectual approach of Manya Thengdiji. Manya Thengdiji was a great organizer. We all know that he not only founded Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh, but he made it an organization, strong organization, and occupying first position among the trade unions. During his lifetime, he could achieve it. But he did not sacrifice the fundamentals of the organization, which he had learned in the Sangha Shaka and Sangha Karya Paddhati. Wherever he has gone, he took that Sangha ideals, Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh's foundational organizational thoughts, practices and principles were modeled and shaped according to the requirements of various national walks of life. That's why in a trade union movement, an organization with the Hindutva thought, with the Sangha Karya Paddhati, was a unique achievement that he did. That's why he gave those slogans. Rashtrahit, Udyogahit, Karmik Hit. So we can't compromise with the nation's interest. We cannot shirk the responsibility of the interests of the labor, but at the same time, we will have to bear in mind the interests of the industry as well. So how to balance it? So this unique samanvaya, which is essential of Hindutva thought, samanvaya at all levels, pantha samanvaya, hita samanvaya, all these things are necessary. That's why he found a way how labor can be participants in the management. That's why he said the laborization of the industry, industrializing the nation, which Vishwesvaraya also had said, industrialize or perish. So industrializing the nation is required for the country's welfare and prosperity. But the industry should not be owned by only people who are putting the money into that. Those who are investing in that. The labor invests his labor. Worker invests his hard work. Somebody invests his money. Somebody comes with the technology. And somebody is a customer, consumer. There's an industry runs because of the participation of all these sectors and segments. That's why the stakeholders have equal right and responsibility when an industry, in a society, in a nation has to prosper. That's why laborize the industry was the slogan and the thought given by Thengdiji. And at the same time, he thought that labor should not only demand, come what may, my benefits should be there. Chahe jo majburi. So we should get our emoluments. We should get our bonus. That cannot be the view of labor. That's why he said, he said, nationalize the labor. The labor should have the nation's interest uppermost in his mind. That is why we see at the time of national calamity and national emergency like wars, like floods, like such things, the Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh has come forward always to protect the nation's interest against the selfish interest of the labor. This was the lesson taught by Manya Thengdiji, not only for the Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh, but for all the labor unions all over the world. That is why nationalize the industry, industrialize the nationalize the labor, laborize the industry, and industrialize the nation. This is the balance that has to go. So he was an organizer with a thought. He was an organizer with a methodology. He was an organizer with a heart and hand and mind. His qualities of head and heart They were unparalleled. That's why ordinary Karyakarta of Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh or Bharatiya Kisan Sangh, he finds an elderly, affectionate family member in the personality of Manya Tengdi ji. In front of Tengdi ji, an ordinary Karyakarta can weep, can cry, can complain, can open his heart. That was Tengdi ji. So Manya Tengdi ji, because of his empathy, because of his sympathy, because of his concerns for the ordinary people, he was also having one very important area where he played a very prominent role is of social harmony and social justice and social equality. Samajik samata, samarthata and samajik nyaya. He learned those things not only through in the Sangha Shakha, no doubt, but also he had the wonderful opportunity to work with the Param Pujyanate Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar. His learnings and interactions with Ambedkar are something unique. He discussed with Manya Tengdi ji discussed with Pujyanate Baba Saheb Ambedkar several things. Though he was a young man, he worked with him for his, as a secretary and also during his elections. And he has recorded those things. And Manya Tengdi ji's one of the most prominent books is on Dr. Ambedkar and the social revolution, particularly in Maharashtra. Samajik Kranti and Dr. Ambedkar, which has come out in Hindi, Marathi, and many other languages. And because of this feeling and concern for the social harmony and social equality, he started Samajik Samarthata Manch with the participation and help of Karyakartas in Maharashtra. And today Samajik Samarthata Manch is working in various parts of our country. So you can't put Manya Tengdi ji in any one mold. He is a trade union leader, he is a parliamentarian, he is an organizer, he is a thought leader. He is concerned with environment, he is concerned with social equality. He is concerned about the nation's future, world's future, humanity's future, and he is concerned with the Karyakartas' tomorrow's life and bread and butter. That's why Manya Tengdi ji, when he lived, you were fortunate to learn something from him. Manya Tengdi ji was like Ganga river. It was for us to take how much Ganga we can take. If I can take a small glass, I will take that much Ganga. If I take a bigger vessel or a utensil, I can take that much Ganga. So it was for us to take the amount of Ganga, the volume of Ganga, according to our personality. Manya Tengdi ji, while speaking about another such architect of organization, Yashwantrao Kelkar, Professor Yashwantrao Kelkar, who was one of the architects of Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad. They knew each other very well. When Yashwantrao Kelkar expired, while expressing his Shraddhanjali to Yashwantrao Kelkar, Manya Tengdi ji, he expressed one sentence. He said, "We do not know now what we have lost." When Yashwantrao Kelkar is gone, we do not know now what we have lost. This expression of Manya Tengdi ji can be very well told about Manya Tengdi ji himself. Tengdi ji is not physically present now. We can say we do not know what we have lost. पूजनीय मोहन राव भागवत जी, राष्ट्रीय स्वयंसेवक संघ सरसंघ चालक, expressed one thing about Tengdi ji. He said there will be three types of great men. Some great men are so superhumans, they have attained such heights. That's why they do not come into the contact of ordinary people, and ordinary people cannot see them. Because they have attained such heights, because they are superior beings, such great people. The second category of great people, as Mohan Rao Bhagavat ji told, is such great people whom you can't go near them, because you feel that I cannot become such a personality because he is so great. So because of that, there will be a fear, bhaya and bhakti will be there. So such great people we only worship and keep away. But there is a third category of great personalities. And that third category is, you never come to know how they were great, how much they were great. They live like ordinary beings. They become friends of ordinary people also. Their life is so simple and so ordinary. You never come to know that you are talking, you are interacting, you are living with such a great personality. And Mane Tengdi ji belongs to this third category of great personality, but you do not know how great he was. Friends, on this occasion of centenary year of Mane Tengdi ji, it is quite befitting to remember him, read his ideas and the thoughts. Remember what he told and what he wrote during his lifetime, so that we can tread our path with illumined ideas, with rededicated resolve. And Tengdi ji had warned the Karyakartas not to have an organization of status-loving leaders and comfort-loving cadres. So when Tengdi ji is not physically present now, we should remember his warnings also. Status-loving leadership and comfort-loving cadre will never be able to make an organization great or everlasting. Tengdi ji also had warned that if somebody attains greatness, when you reach the top, you are alone. But your loneliness should not affect others, because you don't get friends. Tengdi ji also had predicted the collapse of communism decades earlier. Tengdi ji had given the thought of third way, because only the capitalist or communist ways are not the only ways of life, of political ideology or economic thought or development model. That's why a third way, which is the essentially Bharatiya way, which is the Hindutva way, which will become the universal way, because this is not within the boundaries of Bharat, but the Hindu way, the Hindutva thought, as has been spoken by Maharishi Aurobindo, Swami Vivekananda, and many others. This third way will have to be articulated for today's timings, will have to be defined for the present generation. For that, hard work, rigor, dedication, conviction and confidence are required. Manya Tengdi ji's memory will provide us these qualities in abundance. That is what I feel, I hope. On this occasion of releasing of the Jagriti special issue, I once again bow before the
memory of Manya Tengdi ji, express my homage and tribute to his illuminating and inspiring memory. And I congratulate Jagriti Prakashan Trust for bringing out this wonderful special issue. Last night, I was going through the articles. Manya Bhagaya ji, Manya Manmohan ji Vaidya, and Brijesh Upadhyay ji, Soumya Aduli ji, many have written wonderful articles on Manya Tengdi ji. So I request the Telugu readers to read those articles, understand what Tengdi ji has said, and rededicate yourselves for the cause of this great nation, which was very dear to the heart of Manya Tengdi ji. That is the way we can express, we can pay our tributes to this great man, Rashtra Rishi. That's all I wanted to say on this occasion. Once again, with the memory of Manya Tengdi ji, I would like to do whatever is possible in my life, and I thank Jagriti Prakashan Trust for giving me this opportunity to remember this great soul. Namaskar. Om.